Hello everyone and welcome to the sketchbook tour. Today I thought I'd come and show you a bunch of the drawings I've been working on over the past few months. I started this sketchbook in April and I just ended it recently in June. So this is the quickest I've finished a sketchbook in a while. I decided to do a little welcome page for the first time ever. So I just made like a little note to self, just talking about goals and the mindset I kind of wanted to have for this sketchbook. That's about it. Let's get right into it. So this is the first thing that I drew in my sketchbook. I think it's really cute. I decided to experiment a lot in this sketchbook and just use mediums that I don't usually draw with. For example, this one, I believed I used watercolor and colored pencil to do this, and I really liked it. I like the colors for it. I kind of carried over this colorful colored pencil watercolor theme onto this page as well. I was feeling like very playful when I first started this sketchbook. This page right here is just me experimenting with some brush pens that I got. They're over here. It was these two brush pens that I got, and yeah, I just decided to do a little spread where I was just kind of testing them out. Then we have this sketch. I have like a good amount of unfinished pages in here, but this is a sketch that I originally intended to go in and color with Posca markers, and I still very clearly have the color scheme I want to paint this in my mind, but I felt too lazy to color it in, so it's gonna stay just a sketch for now. And then here I have this sort of unfinished little comic spread, I would say. I definitely need to go back in and like clean up the black inking that I did and just kind of finish lining some of the work over here, but this is what I got so far. Then here, this is just me experimenting with watercolor markers and pens, I believe, or actually I think it's just watercolor markers. I was experimenting with it, and I think this little guy came out cute. It is a pretty flower. It's so cute. And then here I decided to do a little bit of some drawing from life practice. My mom bought like this very beautiful arrangement of flowers home with her, and I just like sat down and drew it. It's a very like stylized version of the flowers, but I think it came out like not half bad. I experimented with acrylic markers and it was definitely a learning experience. This was also like during like allergy season when I drew this, so I was sneezing a lot because of all the pollen. And then here I have some pencil sketches. Yeah, I didn't draw too much with just plain pencil in this sketchbook. Yeah, this is just me messing around with it in here. Ignore the anatomy for this one. I don't know what I was doing. I was just drawing from my head. And here I just have left hand. I dealt with a lot of wrist pain while I was filling out this sketchbook. Unfortunately, it was really annoying. So this was just one of the days where my right hand was just hurting so much, so I had to draw with my non-dominant hand. It's just me messing around with some acrylic markers and just drawing to satisfy that craving because I couldn't really do it with my right hand. And then here I have some more, just me experimenting with watercolors and colored pencils again, and even some watercolor markers. I didn't really finish it, but I just wanted to practice using these mediums and just become a bit more familiar with it. Just a lot of experimenting. I experimented a lot during the sketchbook, just did a lot of things that I normally wouldn't, and I went in with some highlighters that I got, and then I just drew over it with pen. I was listening to Sunrise on the Looping while I drew this page, so I kind of made it that themed. And here, this is some more of me just kind of mindlessly drawing while I was listening to the audiobook. This right here, I believe I was looking at a photo on Pinterest and I kind of just drew it. And then here, this is just me drawing very mindlessly once again and just pulling things from imagination, experimenting with the brush pens once again. I have some colored pencils, watercolors, just drawing. Then here I have this baby, which was inspired by a piece of artwork that I saw. I do not like the colors I'd pick for this. I didn't like plan the color composition or anything beforehand. I just kind of went for it because I'm trying to draw more freely and just think a bit less when I draw. And this is just one of the cases where I did not like how the final product turned out. But I did have fun coloring it, I will say that, because I got to go in and just, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but I use a lot of metallic pens and markers on here, so it has some shine to it in real life, and I think that looks really pretty. Here, this was the first time I ever decided to do a little like collaging action in my sketchbook, and I had so much fun with it. I just used a bunch of like stationery stuff that I had, scrap pieces of papers, and just kind of stuck it in here, and I think it came out really cute. I really like the colors for it. And I drew Pacheco. He's so cute. And then here I have some more experimental work. This is also inspired by like an artwork that I saw. I also went out of my comfort zone and used crayon. I haven't drawn using crayons since I was a little kid, so it was definitely an experience. It felt like my brain was getting rewired to my childhood self and figuring out how to use crayons again. I feel like crayons is low-key kind of hard to work with, but I think it came out cute. I just used crayons, regular pencils, random markers. I had fun making this. And then here I have a self-portrait of myself, a very stylized version of me. I originally wanted to color it, but I got lazy, so no coloring. And then here I have a little just black and white image that I kind of finished. I should have cleaned up the background here, but other than that, it looks fine. Here I have some more mindless doodles, just me experimenting with the brush pens once again. Some more pencil sketches. And some more doodles. This is my sister, I drew her, I remember that. And this is me actually, yeah. Usually when there's like the two little dots on the face, I'm usually drawing myself, but yeah, this is me. Well, this is Myra right here, and then this is me, and then these are some random things. I think I was at like a cafe or something because I drew boba, and usually when I draw boba, it means I'm at a cafe while I'm drawing the page, but yeah, I think it came out cute. I just used watercolor markers to do the coloring, and I like using watercolor markers because they don't bleed through the page like alcohol markers. Color markers is the way to go. Here is another sketchbook spread inspired by my wrist pain. Guys, my wrist was really hurting. I just recently took the wrist brace off of my wrist, so I've been struggling a lot over the past few months, and it's really irritating because it gets in the way of everything. You're doing basic tasks around the house. I can't open a water bottle properly, and cutting like vegetables and fruits, like it causes aches and pains. I feel like an old person. I'm so young. I'm having so much pain. And if you deal with chronic pain, I have so much respect for you because this isn't even as bad as it could be. And I'm like constantly annoyed by it, and it's constantly getting in the way. So anyone that deals with chronic pain for like years on end and it's really bad, lots of respect for you because it's not easy. It really does take a toll on you. And I feel like a lot of artists or just creatives in general tend to deal with issues like this when it comes to your wrists and your hands, just because you spend so many hours just working with your hands. So if you have very healthy hands, look into ergonomics and how to properly do whatever craft you're doing, because you do not want to hurt yourself. But yeah, that's enough of my time of my little spiel on wrist pain. But yeah, this is what this spread was inspired by, and I don't know, I think it's cute. Here, this is just me experimenting once again. Didn't have much thought to it. Then this right here is a little planning page that I did. Here I was trying to figure out like the color composition for one of the drawings that I made in this sketchbook. Here's another random page. Just drawing to draw. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but not everything's gonna look pretty in a sketchbook. This is also some more of me experimenting. Some random pencil doodles. I will say that my drawing style changed a bit. Still very much like stylized, still very much cute, but like I feel like the shapes and the proportions got a little more wonky. I don't know, it feels a little bit more silly. I'm not going to be able to explain myself properly. I didn't think of this beforehand, but there is definitely a shift. If I find a drawing that's a little bit more in tune with how I normally draw, or how I used to draw more commonly, I'll point it out. Here's some more drawing from life. Practice. I did that quite a bit in the sketchbook. I really got in the habit of walking around and just taking the sketchbook with me everywhere and just kind of like, you know, drawing in public, which was really fun. And right here I drew like birds for the first time, which is something I really don't draw I don't do that very often. I very much like to draw cute looking girls, so this is my attempt at birds from life. And I'm proud of myself because these birds were moving. They were not still. So I was really putting my thinking cap on for these for these doodles. And once again, this is just me drawing outside and me drawing just some things that are right there in front of me, I guess. And I kind of made it like a little visual journal, I guess. And then here is me drawing from life once again. I drew trees. And I think trees are very scary to draw, so this was me very much going out of my comfort zone. But I think the spread came out cute. And then here, just me scribbling on the page because sometimes I just need to like scribble. I just want to move my hand. I don't really want to think. I just like the tactile feel of drawing with like pen on paper. It's very calming, so I guess I was calming myself down when I drew these. Then this I drew, I believe while I was at the library. I just drew my lotion that I had out on the desk and some of the watercolor markers that I was using. And oh, there's one right here. So like, it's probably like one of these colors. And they're double-sided pens. Then here I have a sketch that I never colored. It happens. I got lazy. Here I have some more random doodles that, yeah, not much thought to them. We have this little pen drawing right here that I really like. I don't really have too many thoughts behind this. I just know I like how the final product turned out. Prior to this, I didn't draw that much with pen, but during the sketchbook I really found a love for it. I used to always be very in awe of people that could just go straight in and just draw with a pen, and I'm very proud of myself because I've gotten to the point where I'm now one of those people that could just go straight in with pen and draw something that looks relatively nice. And yeah, I'm happy that I've leveled up in my artistic journey a bit. It's flowers and a girl laying down, but it's also a smiley face, which I think is cool. Originally I drew just the girl, but the page was looking like really empty, like it was just white everywhere, so I added the flowers. Then here I have a little watercolor and color pencil doodle. I really like how free this looks, and I like how I drew her hair. I think she looks very cute. This right here is me trying to figure out the color composition for a mermaid I was drawing. And then this is just me. I like to warm up my hands a bit before I go in like line stuff and just do line work, because my hands are always a little shaky when I first grab the pen, so I just like to loosen up a bit by drawing these basically. Here I have a little bit more of like some collaging, scrapbooky action, and yeah, I had a bunch of pieces of scrap paper around and I decided to do this. I think they look really cute. I like the colors. I like the purple and yellow action. And then here's some more scrap paper that I just kind of stuck in here. Then here we have another, I don't know, I don't have much to say about this. I think it's cute though. have this. I feel like in this sketchbook I was able to draw so much more freely just because I really was not thinking. I don't know what clicked in my brain, but I was just able to really let loose in the sketchbook and not really think about what others would perceive of my artwork and more just create for myself and just kind of do whatever and see what happens. I really embraced experimentation, and I really got in my head that whatever I make in here doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't even have to be finished. This is like a safe space to create, and I just kind of rolled with it. I don't know, I guess I was just feeling inspired these past few months. At least artistically, I've been feeling inspired. I can't really pinpoint why exactly I'm feeling this way, but I'd say for the previous 2 sketchbooks, I was really working on getting over perfectionism in my sketchbook, and I was really kind of guiding myself to a place where I could just experiment and draw more freely, and I feel like I finally got there with this sketchbook. And yeah, the sketchbook isn't perfect and there's a lot of like kind of unfinished work in here, but I had fun with it, and that's what really matters. And like, I haven't had this much fun with the sketchbook in a very long time. When I got my first sketchbook, I would say was the last time I felt like this excited and this free to draw. And I think it's because that was like when I was just drawing solely for myself, and then after that I kind of started posting my artwork on social media. This is the only mermaid I really drew in the sketchbook. I actually drew another mermaid, but I didn't finish it. So this is the only like done mermaid I drew in the sketchbook, and the only mermaid I drew for Mermaid. I would say that this style of drawing right here is like what I would normally draw with, or what I'm the most familiar with, but I had gotten so bored of drawing with just acrylic marker and then simply outlining it with like block pen that during this sketchbook I was like, you know what, we're really gonna try and limit my use of acrylic marker, and we're gonna just use everything else. And I think I did a pretty good job at doing it. It was nice to just experiment, and even like this, I just feel like it's a nice drawing, but it just feels a bit more stiff in comparison to like this. Like this feels so much more free than this. It feels a bit more rigid, and I'm really like vibing with this style of artwork a bit more, I would say. But yeah, this is my mermaid. I like the colors. Then here, this is me experimenting with brush pen once again. This came out alright. And then, oh, here's my second mermaid. I don't know how well you could see it, but this is a mermaid sketch, which I got lazy to color in. And then here, oh, this thread is very cute because I drew this in collaboration with my sister. We drew this while we were in the car. We just kind of went back and forth. And it was funny because we had to draw really fast and the roads are really bumpy here, so the car was constantly bouncing and we had shaky hands, and I don't know. It was like a nice use of 20 minutes. And here I have some more pen drawings. I have Big Head. Yeah. This is Big Head. I think it's cute. I honestly should have colored in their hair. I don't know why I didn't. I should probably go back and do that at some point. And here we have this girl that was looking very sad, but is very cute. And I like that I colored in the hair gray. Makes her face pop. And here I have some more pen doodles. This was inspired by this artwork that I saw by this girl, and I kind of did my own take on it, but it looks very flat and it needs black to make everything else pop. But other than that, I do think it looks very cute. Kind of drew this very mindlessly. There was a lot going on in it. I think I was feeling a bit overwhelmed when I drew this, honestly. Some more pen doodles. More pen doodles. And here, more pencil and watercolor marker drawings. I think they came out cute. Oh, and then here I did some scrapbooking with my sister, and yeah. there's no drawing, just scraps of pretty paper. Oh, and then here, yeah, that was in New York, and I kind of just journaled my day in here. And here, I drew the sea glass carousel. I went straight in with pen. It doesn't look very good, and I figured out really quickly that I need to work on my perspective and just practice drawing buildings in general. But yeah, that was my attempt, and just kind of drew random stuff happening around me. And then here I have this other doodle that I made after waking up in the middle of the night. Honestly, I could have worked on this a bit more, just add more black, make it a bit more cleaner, but once again, got tired of working on it, so I just left it, which is fine. It's a sketchbook. Here, I like the shapes in this drawing. And the colors aren't half bad either. I could like color this in a bit more so that the blue is deeper, but it's whatever. And then once again, the brush pens are here again. We have Orange You Glad and Why So Blue. I really like the shapes in this drawing. I think it's very cute. Some more pencil sketches. I hope you guys could still see very clearly. The sun is setting, so the lighting in here it's a little wonky. Here I drew a fish. I like drawing fish. They're fun to draw, and yeah, so I drew one. Here I have some more mindless doodles. This little person saying hello and goodbye. Oh, and then here I have me like experimenting a design, like a person's face on here. I want to make like, this is like I just wanted to get the idea out of my head and on paper, but I want to make like a final product, like final draft of this. Then I have some shapes that I drew. Oh, here I have this little comic spread that I really wanted to make so beautiful in color. It was going to be very pink and very green, and I got lazy. But the sketch is all here. It says the time will pass anyway. I don't know how well you can see that. And it's just a little comic. This girl and this bunny. It says the time will pass anyway. And here I have this girl and some birds. Oh, this is fun. I went to New York City again. I was in the city, and I basically did like a visual diary of my time there. I kind of sketchbooked my time there. And this is me and my sister at Bryant Park, and these were the outfits we wore that day. We look very, very cute. Here, this is another collaboration page between me and my sister. We just went back and forth drawing for a little bit, and this is what we ended up with. And here, this is us having like a little picnic by the Hudson River. It's very nice. It was kind of chilly while we were there, honestly, but I enjoyed it. And then here, this is us on the train. We got on a really packed train, and honestly, it had been a while since I hugged that many strangers. Like, we were like on top of each other in that train. And yeah, it happens when you live in the city. You're gonna get into a super packed train at some point. And here, we went to watch a Broadway show. My sister got us free tickets, and it was my first time watching a Broadway show, and it was alright. That's it. And then here we had another like scrapbooking drawing session between me and my sister, and I just drew this while we watched the movie. We got we got boba, and this was our drinks, and this is us with their drinks. And then she had like a bingo scrap of paper, so I just drew like a girl that matched the color palette of this bingo piece of paper. Here I used this in one of my videos, this page, so that's why I drew that. Then we have another page. This is me experimenting with how I color using acrylic markers. I know a lot of people that use acrylic markers in such a painterly manner, and I'm just not one of them. I'm going to be one of them one day, but I'm not there yet. I'm still very much learning how they do that. So this is just the results of me experimenting. And then here I have some pencil sketches because I went looking through my sketchbook and I was like, wow, I did not draw solely with like just a pencil. So this is me drawing with just a pencil. And this is me just getting my hands moving once again. Sometimes I get fidgety and I need to do something with my hands, so this is me doing that. And another pencil drawing. This I drew at a cafe. I think it came out really cute. Then we have another drawing. Honestly, I still think it could use a lot of work, but it's very interesting. And it's something I don't usually draw, so I guess I like it. I was feeling very overwhelmed when I drew this drawing, which I guess is why there's so much going on in the background, but not bad. Once I figure out how to like add more black to this artwork, I think it'll look very nice. We have this. I was trying to draw me. I wanted to go with watercolor, but then I got lazy because the watercolor would take too long to draw and to dry. So this is how it is. I was very grumpy when I drew this. And we are here at the last page, which I drew very mindlessly. I was listening to music. This is me drawing. And that is it. That is the end of this sketchbook. Yes, I had a lot of fun with this sketchbook, honestly. It's been a while since I had this much fun with a sketchbook. It was very much a learning experience, this sketchbook. It was my like no pressure sketchbook, and I had so much fun because I put no pressure on myself, because I accepted that if something comes out bad, that it's not the end of the world. We could simply draw something again, move on to the next. It is a sketchbook, and honestly you could even argue that this isn't like a genuine sketchbook, because there's a lot of drawings in here that I did put like a lot of thought into it, and I even did some planning, and it's like more of an art journal than a proper sketchbook. But that's enough of me talking. You've been hearing me speak for too long, and since you got to the end, I guess I'll give you a little information on this sketchbook. This is the Talens Art Creation Sketchbook. If you are interested, it is the small little square size. They're pretty affordable, at least where I live. They're not too expensive, and I like the paper quality. You guys saw all the mediums I used in here, so if you work with those mediums, they'll work just fine. I will say, if you do use a lot of watercolors, like, don't get this sketchbook because it can only handle light washes, and if you use alcohol markers, the markers will bleed through it. But other than that, I'd say this is a pretty solid sketchbook. If you got this far, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Like, I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you liked my art, and that this video brought you a little inspiration, and that you get to go draw a bit more too. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!